Hello, everybody.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm John.
I'm Kendra.
Welcome to Ringside.
Oh.
Welcome. It's a special 4th of July. Well, by the time you're hearing this, it'll probably be the 5th of July.
Yeah, but today's the 4th of July. I'm saluting.
I'm saluting.
You can't see.
Thinking of all the great things. Well, I guess
we'll think of the great things.
We'll think of what could be great. What could have been.
Happy birthday.
Happy 2023rd birthday, America. We did it.
What do we do?
Well, we outlasted everyone else. We've been here since the beginning. On the 8th day, the good Lord.
No.
The good
Lord
Lord
the United States of America.
Said,
let there be states.
He said, what the fuck is that? They say,
I don't know.
All right, hang on.
Oh, God, damn.
I couldn't fucking think
He
of
said,
it.
couldn't make it work.
He said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. That all men are created equal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Be careful with that.
Hey, listen, this is a recording, baby. We can't get DMCA'd on a recording.
I don't know. I feel like we can still get taken to a court.
He didn't write that.
Lin-Manuel.
Lin-Manuel didn't write that. Thomas Jefferson wrote that.
Okay, yeah.
And guess where he's at?
The grave.
In hell. Okay, where he belongs.
Damn.
He did his piece. He founded this country. He ruined a bunch of lives, and he peaced out.
He fucked right off.
Yeah, and that's what America's all about.
Yeah, that's pretty much every founding father.
Yeah. So
thanks, guys. Thank you.
Woo! We did it.
We did it. Good job.
We did it, Joe.
Anyway, this is our special patriotic 4th of July episode where we will only be talking about America. That's a lie. We're kidding.
All of them.
We won't do that.
The United States of America, South America, Central America, America Ferrera, America Chavez. All of them. It's your one-stop shop for America.
All the Americas. No, we won't be doing that today.
I heard that Republicans are calling to ban the song Proud to Be an American from all sporting events and schools because it has the word proud in it, and that indicates that pride is relevant.
Close. It's just too close.
And it said, especially we're in July. This is America Month. Pride Month was last month.
Yeah. And it says, and I won't forget the men who died, but they don't specify.
Right.
Cis men, trans men.
So they're just calling to ban the whole thing.
They're going to ban it until they can re-release. And I won't forget the cishet men who died, who gave that right to me.
Yeah.
The flow, you know what? It's not bad.
And they have to be able to stand. So if you're an individual who cannot stand up, either assisted or otherwise,
you're out.
Guess what? You're out. You're not American anymore.
Not American.
Yeah. So.
Okay, this kind of got dark.
Yeah.
Because we joke and we do hee hee ha ha laughs, but sometimes it's a little too close to the truth.
Next year, this might be the reality.
This might be the reality.
We will say that we don't support anything we just joked about. Those were hee hee ha ha jokes.
Yeah. Things are getting bad, folks.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to talk about the bad.
In the world of Ringside with John and Kendra, things are getting different. They're getting different for us. We just went through a big life change.
And I think that's going to be most of what we talk about today.
Yeah, I think so. The main topic, I guess, of today is it's not wrestling. It's not movies or anything. It's moving. It's not movies. It's moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today's our moving sale episode.
Oh, I would have said like moving day.
Yeah.
But hey, if you wanna buy something, we'll find something to sell.
Sale. How could I make that work? Sale. 2 hosts for the price of 1. For the price of nothing, because it's a free podcast. Listen, okay, I don't know. A moving sale in my head just made a lot of sense. But today we're going to be mostly talking about our move, because that's like the biggest thing that's
it's been our
happened.
Lives for the last few
the last weeks. Right, and we've been gone for a long time, and that's the main reason why. So that's going to be mainly what we talk about. We might get some other things. I actually want to bring up a topic towards the end that I'm interested in discussing with you.
I also had a topic I wanted to bring up.
Oh, do you want to do that one first?
Sure. I think that'll be a good way to... I'm promising that it'll be a good way to ease into this moving conversation. Okay. But I actually don't know that because I don't remember what I wrote about.
Okay.
Okay. This has nothing to do with moving, but it has been something that's been on my mind. And if it's the same thing, we can always edit it out.
Okay. It won't be, but sure.
So while we've been moving in, this is how I'll wrap it all together. While
Okay.
we've been moving in and kind of getting our lives situated here, it's kind of coincided with my annual rewatch of the original Jersey Shore
Run.
run.
Yes.
I don't know why or how this started, but for the last few years, every year I rewatch Jersey Shore at least once, all the way through, because it's fun. And now it's kind of a tradition. Now I've got to do it. Otherwise, my whole year's thrown off.
It's wasted.
Wasted. Wasted.
I feel like it also makes sense that in like times of high stress and uncertainty, a lot of this, I mean, when we talk about moving, we weren't moving from like one apartment across the street to the other apartment. Like that's what we did last time we moved. We moved cities. It was the biggest move we've ever done. We had to move 2 cats. And it was a lot. It was very stressful. So it's kind of nice to have something reliable that you know very well, that's kind of mindless, to throw on and watch while you pack boxes or unpack boxes or set up furniture or whatever.
Right.
When we find ourselves in times of struggle, Mother JWoww comes to me speaking words of wisdom. Let it be.
Right. So I watch Jersey Shore on Hulu, and I do have the ads because
we're not made of money here, folks.
Balling on a budget here. I got the Disney bundle when it was first released, so I pay my little money and I get my Disney Plus no ads, and then I got my ads for my Hulu. Whatever, it's fine.
My little money.
I've been watching these ads, and something that has been making the rounds on TikTok as well as these ads.
Oh no.
Is Grimmace's birthday?
Yes.
Over at McDonald's.
Yeah. How rude of us! Happy birthday, Grimace.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Grimace.
The podcast just ends.
Oh, we die. Yeah. So I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about Grimace and his birthday and what he likes to eat. I mean, he's a big guy, so he has his whole birthday meal. I think it's like a Big Mac and chicken nuggets and fries and a milkshake. But it's a special milkshake that it's Grimace's milkshake.
Right.
Why we can only get it with the meal, I don't know.
Well, Grimace it's his birthday.
Yeah.
He wants everyone to have a good fun time. He wants to make money as well.
Yeah, it's intellectual
Bundle
property.
it into a meal. Why? Okay. Is this... Okay, I don't know a lot about the Grimace lore. I am an avid McDonald's fan. If you've ever seen me in person, I look like someone who would like McDonald's. But I don't know a lot about like the McDonald's characters.
Right.
I know Ronald. He's like the leader of the gang. I know Hamburglar. He's you got to keep your eye on him because he's a thief and a felon. And then there's Grimace, who's just a blob who may or may not be
a taste bud.
A taste bud. That was approved.
Yeah, that's unconfirmed.
World building. But like, is the shake something he drinks himself? Is there a little Grimace in the shake? I don't know. Does it
come
Grimace
from him?
blood? Like what?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be the same color as him?
I don't know.
Does he like blueberry? I heard it's blueberry flavored.
I heard it's vanilla flavor.
I heard it depends. You told me it depends.
Yeah, it depends on what you eat, apparently.
Yeah.
The salt might make it taste different.
So I'm just curious about like, does he... Is it Grimace's milkshake because he enjoys the taste of the milkshake? It's his favorite milkshake. Or is it Grimace's milkshake because Grimace puts something inside, a piece of himself inside of the milkshake?
Yeah, he puts a piece of himself in every milkshake so that we're all Grimace.
A little fur before it's blended up.
Yeah.
Do you remember that scene in Matilda where the cook brought out that admittedly delicious looking cake? And she was like, her blood, sweat, and tears went into this cake. And they meant literally.
Yeah.
Is that the Grimace shake?
Maybe. But anyway, it got me thinking.
I'm
we got this motherfucker got a whole month. He got a whole month to celebrate. Which, I mean, hey, do it up, do it right.
And a longer month than some of us get.
Right. I feel like he kind of, was this Grimace's coming out? It was Pride Month.
No, I think that was just a coinky dink.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I think we would have had a more...
You think they would have made a bigger deal out of it?
I think they would have made a bigger deal out of it.
Well, I accept you for who you are, Grimace, no matter what.
Whatever you are.
Whatever you are.
You blob you.
Yeah, you taste bud you. So anyway, it got me thinking. What other so we kind of got what the meal is, right? Mm-hmm. What other meals would the other McDonald's characters have. Now, you talked about a few. You talked about Ronald, who we all know, tried and true. You know?
Okay.
And then we have, I don't know if you remember, we have that fucking bird chick.
Yes.
Something early bird, something. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't remember who she is. But anyway, we have her.
Yes.
We have the Hamburglar. Mm-hmm. And then one I didn't know.
There's another?
Yeah, it was the guy with the... Well, we have the officer with the cheeseburger head. But
officer? Wasn't he Mayor McCheese?
There's Mayor McCheese, and then there's like Officer someone.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I didn't fucking know all this. And then that guy with like the crescent moon head.
Right. Yes. Mr. Moon. I don't know what he was called.
Mr. Mac. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, like Mac Tonight, Mr. Mac.
Yeah, because I read he used the song Mac the Knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was like a talk show host or like a musician or something.
Yeah, some shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so all of these folks, I'm thinking, well, what would their meals be?
Okay. Let's knock out the easiest one first, okay?
Right.
Hamburglar. 55 hamburgers. Nothing else. He's not gonna fill up his stomach with anything that's not a hamburger, obviously. It's his whole thing. And honestly, I appreciate him having a theme and sticking to it. So he would get 55 hamburgers.
I like to think that the Hamburglar's meal, because he is a thief. He does lots of crime. Mm-hmm. And I like to think his meal that you could purchase is actually his final meal, like that he would receive
Jesus fucking
on
Christ.
death row.
He's a character for children.
Listen,
kids, time to learn up.
It's time to learn up. You can't do the time. Don't do the crime.
The meal that I suggested could also be his last meal.
Yeah. Now that's like is he like a fucking psychotic person who he gets 55 burgers and then doesn't eat any of them, and so then the state has to be like, we're not going to do this for people anymore.
55 burgers, but only the patties. He just eats the
55 burgers, all Wagyu beef.
Premium top of the line burgers. Not like the burger patties that they put in the regular cheeseburgers. The burger patties that they put in like the Big Macs.
With fat-free cheese.
Oh my God.
And Big Mac sauce.
Okay.
With a Diet Coke.
Diet.
And it's all $45.99. That's a steal for 55 burgers.
Oh, so, okay. John, I might have misunderstood the assignment. I thought we were just saying what the characters would like to eat, but you're trying to say what would McDonald's push as their meal. Guys, I deeply apologize for for what I've done today. I misunderstood. Try it again? Yes.
All right.
I think the Hamburglar's meal would be two hamburgers, medium fry, medium drink, cheeseburger on the side. Ooh, that's funky. That's fresh. $27.99. McDonald's is getting expensive nowadays, but with it, you get a pair of standard issue police handcuffs to play with as like an adult Happy Meal toy. They did that before.
Yeah, they did. And they sucked.
You know what? And I ordered it and I didn't get a toy and I didn't get the special box. What I got was a more expensive version of a regular meal that they have on their menu.
Yeah.
I could not believe, because it was like $2 more expensive.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'll get the fun little toy in the little box.
Yeah, it's like an event.
And they were like,
nothing.
No, you're going to get something you can order off the menu at any point for $2 cheaper. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm going off the rails again.
I think that makes sense for his meal. I think maybe 2 Big Macs.
Yeah, that's a lot of burger. That's a lot of burger.
Or like a Big Mac and a double quarter pounder.
Damn. He's like, I'm trying to stop your heart today.
Yeah. He's like,
it's the heart stopper meal.
It's something to stop.
Let's speed run the other ones, because I do feel like I wasted a lot of time on the hamburger.
Okay, so I feel like Ronald McDonald would get a Big Mac, fries, apple slices, and probably a Coke.
Yeah, I feel like Ronald McDonald's would be like the most standard American.
Right.
Yeah. So like Big Mac and fries, make it a little special with the apple slices. And you can only order a Coke. That's...
You said more Ronald? American. Yeah.
Ronald's calling. Answer the phone.
I think the bird
She can't do chicken nuggets.
She can't do chicken
can't do
nuggets.
chicken nuggets.
So she'd get a fillet of fish.
Oh, John, that's
She'd
fucking
get a
smart.
fillet of fish with fries and a box of cookies.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Birds love to eat cookies off the street.
Yeah.
Beaches where they frequent.
And probably a high C.
I was going to say some kind of like juice.
Yeah.
High C or Powerade.
Oh, we're getting good at this.
We're getting good at this. What's the next one? Mayor McCheese.
Mayor McCheese is going to get
Nuggets.
nuggets and a black coffee.
That sounds so fucking disgusting. But yes, I agree. He's here for a good time, but he also needs to get to work.
Listen, it's in 2023, that mayor, he's going through a lot.
Yeah. I can only imagine.
Yeah. The officer is going to get...
what does the officer look like?
I think he looks just like Mayor McCheese, only in cop clothes.
Are they brothers?
I don't know.
Is Mayor McCheese, was he like the police sergeant that was appointed mayor? Because that could be an interesting bit of lore that might help us.
Okay. Officer Big Mac is his name.
Okay.
Officer Big Mac, I feel like, would get exclusively the like breakfast platter.
Oh yeah.
That has like the pancakes and the sausage and like the square egg.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because he's early morning shift as a
some
police
mornings,
officer.
depending on the chain, depending on the restaurant you go to, you'll get a coffee or an orange juice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That makes so much... Guys...
McDonald's, we're talking some hot shit, but I think I might be on something. So
Yeah.
this is Ringside's intellectual property of your intellectual
So you better
property?
put our names on those fucking bags.
Right.
Get us like the Cardi B meal and Offset. I want
Right.
a piece of that.
I want a John and Kendra meal.
John and Kendra meal.
Then let's go with Mac tonight. Let's finish off with Mac tonight.
You know what? He strikes me as a little freak. I told you about this.
He looks haunted. Y'all, if y'all
previously-
get a chance, look up Mac tonight.
Recently, they brought him back out for commercials, dusted him off. But the McDonald's that was close to us in our old apartment, it had been redone recently. But before that, it was like a late night McDonald's theme restaurant. And what is his
Mac
name?
Tonight?
Mac Tonight. Sorry, Mr. Tonight.
Mr. Tonight.
Was there. They had like a statue of him in the restaurant, and everything was like cool toned. I feel like it was like blue and purples.
Sure.
It was so cool and so unique, and like everything good in life, they got rid of it to make it more modern or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so I feel like I have a
They
deeply
wokeified your McDonald's. No, I'm kidding.
So I feel like I have a very personal, deep connection with Mac Tonight. And despite his name, I feel like he would get something like he would only order like every pastry, like one of every pastry.
See,
like, that's
I'm
it.
gonna disagree. I think that on the picture I'm looking at, he is singing at a grand piano.
He is very like extra, but he's also quite slender. I don't
So,
think he eats very much.
I'm thinking he probably gets like shit that's discontinued.
Oh, like
he gets like the McLasagna.
pizza, McLobster.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever done a McLobster, but
or
if
a
they did, he'd order it.
McSpaghetti and meatballs.
Yes. Because he's also kind of outdated in his own right.
Right.
They don't really use him for anything anymore.
So I feel like he gets that.
You're so good at this. Why are you so good at
and a
this?
box of cigarettes. I don't know. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a smoker for sure.
This was fun. We should do more of these.
This is fun. For other brands.
Yeah, for other brands.
What would the girl child Wendy get from her own restaurant?
Listen, all she's bringing to anything is beef. Did you see that whole promotion where she was just roasting people on TikTok?
I remember.
Yeah, I don't want to play with her. She seems mean. I feel like if I keep evoking
burn our
her
house,
name,
our new house down.
yeah, she might. She's gonna cause some issues, so I don't want to play with her.
Okay, fair enough. We'll pick a different one.
Yeah,
But
we'll do another one another time.
yeah,
But
that was fun.
Anyway, sorry, that's what I wanted to talk about. So I
Yeah.
guess we'll see y'all next. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Kendra. Oh,
Who's she? Your other girlfriend? Your other co-homeowner?
yeah. My bad. So Kendra mentioned that this was the biggest move, y'all. Moving sucks.
Moving does suck.
Although I feel like this time around we did a pretty good job. We made a pretty...
Well, here's the thing. The week before, or the week after we closed on this house, we were lucky. We had time between when we closed on our house and when our lease was up in our old apartment. So we had time to get things packed. We didn't have to rush. On moving day, it wasn't like we need to be out by noon or whatever. We had time, which I think was the biggest difference from our last move, where we had to like be out one day, completely out,
right,
and move in on that same day. Like there was no grace period. So this time we had a grace period. That helped us a lot. And another thing was that I took the entire week from closing to moving. I took it off of work.
Right.
Because both of us, we work full-time jobs.
Right.
And especially you have, right now at work for you is like more involved and stressful than usual. So I was like, I know both of us, we're not going to be able to have enough time to get all this stuff packed and like ready, because there's stuff that we needed to have ordered here to be ready when we moved in.
Right.
So I took that whole week off, and I think that helped us a lot too. But just the thing that I learned from the home buying process, even just looking at houses and then moving across county lines,
right,
was that like to do it without losing your mind, you have to be extremely privileged. Extremely. Like every part, like you wouldn't think that like, oh, packing and moving, like it would benefit you if you had, like, we weren't in a position where we could pay someone to come and pack up all of our stuff and move it. Sure.
Right.
We weren't in the same position we were last time we moved, where we had like no time and had to work to pack shit like after work when we're already so exhausted.
Right. Yeah, we were definitely I mean, at the time of our last move, we were seriously living like paycheck to paycheck. And now, not that we're like fucking balling or anything like that, but you know, just thankfully we both, like you said, we both have full-time jobs. So we're not in
we're in a better position.
Yeah, as much financial danger.
Yeah. Hopefully not. We haven't started paying our mortgage yet.
Yeah, I mean,
that's another thing.
Y'all, everything's just fucked.
I think, yeah, that's truly what I realized. And again, we were super lucky that I had enough PTO saved.
Right.
That I have enough people on my team at work that I could take a full week off, and you know, things were still able to run.
Right. I couldn't take a week.
Right. Like, and for a long time, that wasn't the case for me either. So yeah, John couldn't take off the time. He's too important at work. So, so yeah, it was a stressful time. And then the home buying process was simultaneously so long and so short. I feel like I blinked and suddenly we were like here. Right. But it's truly been like a 4-month process. We started like looking probably in like February. Right. We were looking in my hometown that I love very much. Mm-hmm. Would have loved to stay there, but there's just no way. During the pandemic, when all of the housing, like loan, what am I trying to say? Interest rates. When the interest rates got super, super low, people flocked to Florida. Flocked. And it wasn't just people. It was companies or flippers who would buy up all these properties that were super cheap, renovate them, and turn them out and rent them, or turn them into Airbnbs, or sell them for $500,000 for a 2-bedroom house. Like,
just crazy shit.
It was insane. And at the time, because that was like 3 years ago now, I was like, wow, that fucking sucks. But like in my head at that time, I was like, we're never going to be able to afford a house anyway. Like I'm not even that. I'm mad about it for other people who are trying to look for a house, but like
That's not where we were.
That was not going to be our reality. So what am I going to do? Get mad about it for 2 years? No, I'll wait and get mad about it when we start looking.
Right.
Because then, we found ourselves in the position where we got priced out of my hometown that I loved to live. I loved living there.
You grew up in. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was really, really sad. Just to see like these, and it was like shacks, like shitty houses selling for a quarter, like so much money.
Right.
So much money. And a $200,000 house sounds great now, in theory.
Right.
But then when you realize you have to spend another $200,000 to fix it up to make it livable,
right,
that's unattainable. And yeah, so that part of it was frustrating. So we started looking outside our hometown, but where John still works. So that's another issue. We had to consider a commute. And so, we started looking around and we found some place, and that place was a new construction. Well, that's a whole other can of worms.
Right. Truly.
We didn't know anything about new constructions. I don't know anyone who's lived in a new construction. Well, people from work.
You know me now.
And now I know you and I know myself. But it was just kind of like no one in my family has bought a house since 1990. And
Right.
guess what? Things were a bit different back then.
Just a little bit.
People like my parents, whom I love very much, and who did help and support us a lot through this whole process, literally couldn't have done it without them. But they didn't understand how much the market had changed. Because when they bought their house, their 3-bedroom, like probably 1,600 square foot house with a fenced in backyard,
right,
and a 3-car driveway and a carport, they bought that house for $49,000.
Right.
In 1990. How much worse could it have gotten in such a small amount of time?
Right.
Their house now is valued probably close to $400,000 now.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's
so
insane.
they didn't really have any insight into what it would be like
Right.
to look now until we started looking.
Right. And also, I mean, just the economy's changed so much. I mean,
Exactly.
You could afford that on a lot less than what people are making now.
Yeah.
Just, because the wages haven't gone up and,
Right.
Economics. So no, it was crazy. It was crazy. And Kendra really took the lead on a lot of that stuff because, one, my brain just don't understand it. But also, I am not in a position where I can take that much time off work, especially summers are always like my busiest time of year.
Yeah.
So I can't, just based on the necessities of the job, I can't really take off. So I was still doing some of that, like packing after work and whatnot. At least in the summer, I get off a little bit earlier in the day. But even then, just not being able to feel like I'm in it as much.
Yeah.
Wasn't a great feeling, but I mean, we both understood it wasn't for lack of trying.
It's not that you didn't care.
Right.
It's not that you didn't want to be doing these things. And I'm
Right.
thinking even of in the very, very beginning when we started looking at houses, I had to take off work, leave work early to go to visit this house. And I had to drive all over. That's stuff that you just couldn't do. That's stuff that not a lot of people can't do.
Right. So
Because you have to have a very flexible work arrangement.
So we do fully acknowledge that, I mean, are we incredibly happy? Yes.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah.
And all the cool stuff that comes along with that. But we do want to make it very well known that it does come from a place of privilege, and that we acknowledge that we are very fortunate as of right now. Like you said, who knows where things can change once these payments start kicking in, baby.
Right.
I think we'll be fine. But
I think we'll be fine for this first year because we planned it out to make sure that we could afford it.
Once we start getting these advertisements in for this.
Once you start flocking to this podcast.
That's right.
But the thing that's so frustrating is that there's so much uncertainty. It's not like you lock in all of your prices all at once. The property tax can go up. We have a homeowners association now. That fee can increase. Our homeowners insurance in Florida is insane.
Yeah.
volatile, unreliable, that can go up next year. There's so much stuff that you get into. It's kind of like when you rent an apartment.
Right.
When we started renting our apartment, it was $1,100. That was in 2020. Ooh. And then for us to have renewed, it would have been what, $1,700?
Right.
After 3 years. $600 a month after 3. That's insane.
Right.
So it's like when we were there, when we signed up, we could afford it. And then very soon after, we could not. And that's just the reality of owning, renting, any housing,
right.
anything, which is despicable and horrible and so sad.
Right.
But yeah, I through this process, because you hear all the time they're not buying houses. Millennials can't afford to buy houses. All of these other things. My parents' house was like a quarter of their yearly earnings. You don't really realize what's going on until you're in it.
Right.
Suddenly when we were dropped into it, and I'm like, oh man, I have to like take off a lot of time from work just to look. And I have to run my credit like 3 or 4 times throughout the process, damaging my credit further.
Right.
Like you have to, when we actually started like, okay, this is where we want to live. Let's start the process on that. You have to pay fees. You have to pay for appraisals and all this other bullshit, which I understand it's probably important, but it's just like, you have to have so much money saved up, and from where? Because your rent is $1,700 a month for a 600 square foot apartment. It's just so frustrating to see it in real time because you only hear about it and then you're like, that's horrible, that sucks. Then you live it and you're like, this is why so many people our age are struggling.
Right.
So, and yeah, we, like John said, we're happy now. We ended up in a really nice house, nicer than I ever thought that we'd ever. Yeah. I didn't think we'd ever be able to afford a house ever.
Right.
So to be in one that's like so nice, is crazy. It bums me out that we had to be so far away from like my parents' house and your job and like everything that I've ever known.
Right.
I don't know how to get around here.
Right.
Like we're kind of in a farm country. Like I don't know. Well, there's nothing out here.
If it makes you feel better, there's nothing to get around to.
That's true.
We're on the fucking boonies.
Yeah, we are in the boonies now, but yeah, so that the whole process has been a lot. But in the end, we are very, very grateful to even be able to say that we own a house.
Yeah.
Is insane.
It's super cool. And the move itself was, thankfully all your family was around. It was relatively seamless. I mean, we did rent a budget truck.
Yeah.
To move all of our stuff, but we were done like by the early afternoon.
Yeah. And it was because, okay, so spoilers for our previous move, spoilers to 3 years ago when we moved from our first ever apartment ever into our first grown-up apartment that had like nice amenities and we loved that apartment. We liked being there. It was just so expensive.
For what it was, yeah.
For what it was, for how small it was. When my family came to help us move, they were shocked. They were gagged by how little packing we had done. And in our heads, we had done so much.
Right, yeah, apparently. I was like, what? Damn.
But then when they got there, they were like, I don't even remember because it was so long ago. So I had to ask them, like, what was it? Why was everyone so mad at us?
Right.
And my mom was like, we had to help you pack on the day. Like, we showed up to move stuff and we had to help you pack and clean on the day. And I was like, shit, yeah, that probably did suck. My bad. But I was so like, this was back in the day when my OCD was super, super bad. I was so terrified for that move. So terrified. So like, I wasn't even really thinking past it. Like I couldn't. My mind was stuck on this moment. So my bad, family. So this time around, we were so diligent.
It was like the opposite. It's like we were so worried about not being prepared.
Yeah, about a repeat situation. And
Like, we don't want y'all talking shit this time.
And also, this is again before our last move, literally down the street,
Right.
from one another. So this time, they were having to come up like 40 miles,
Right.
and drive back down 40 miles with us. So like, it was higher stakes. Oops, sorry. It was higher stakes, and I would have felt terrible if they had a bad experience again. So we tried to do everything in our power to make it as quick and easy as possible.
Right. Yeah. But just like last time, well, actually, it fits the entire theme of the whole trip being easier. So the last time in our last apartment is when one of our cats, our younger cat, he found us. He kind of chose us. We had an open, like an open porch.
Yeah, our porch wasn't screened.
Our very first apartment, excuse me.
Right. Our porch wasn't screened.
Wasn't screened in. It was you could walk out onto it, but it wasn't screened in or anything. And we used to have some neighborhood cats kind of come through. And then there was this one little kitty cat who eventually would come through all the time. And then we eventually just took him in because he was so small. He couldn't have been more than a few months old when he started coming to our porch. And we couldn't leave him.
No.
Yeah, we just couldn't leave him. So, but we had to kind of bamboozle him into getting into a crate to move. Now, here's the thing. He is a little street cat. Even now, we've had him for 3 years? Yeah. 4 years? Even now, he is still relatively skittish.
Yeah.
He's gotten a lot better.
A lot better.
And he loves the both of us now. But it took him a long time to get to that point. More so with me than with you. He always liked you.
Yeah.
But getting him into a crate is near impossible.
Yeah.
Or a carrier of any kind.
Getting him into anything.
Right. Going to pick him up is near impossible.
Especially for you.
Right. So the biggest thing that we were really, really worried about was how the fuck are we going to move him from the apartment all the way across the bridge into a house. That was the scary part. But luckily, we kind of planned it out. We have this, he's like a little 10-pound cat.
Yeah.
And we had this massive crate meant for like a 30, 40-pound dog.
It's meant for a large dog. Right. And we got it for Bucello's big ass.
Yeah. So we got this crate and we just set it up and started putting their food in it. And then eventually he was a little nervous by all the moving on moving day. We also had to put him and Bucello in a closet with their food and like litter box just so that they wouldn't escape or get hurt in the process, right? Yeah. So they were kind of shaken up by that. But eventually we just kind of sat in the room until he went in there. And I got up and I was sure he's going to fucking run out. And I'm going to be here till 8 p.m. trying to get him in here. And luckily that wasn't the case. I closed it right away.
And he was locked in.
And we brought him right over.
Yeah.
But that was like the most stressful part, right?
Yeah.
And even now, we've been here, going on 3 weeks? Something like that.
Yeah.
And we're still unpacking. We're still getting everything set up. But it's been kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say that I learned how to use a power drill.
Yeah.
Effectively.
He mounted stuff. He used drywall anchors.
Yeah. I was like, I'm a man now. Yeah. No. Well, I was always scared to do it because even in theater, which is where I would have used tools and power tools the most, I didn't really do that a whole lot.
Yeah. You were one of them actors.
Yeah, I was always on the performance side of it. So no,
disgusting.
But even but even then, like, I wasn't as experienced with that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, I hope I'm doing this right. I don't fucking know.
It is scary, especially when it's like, for the first time, it's like, these are our walls.
Right. Like, if I fuck this up, I'm going to have to pay for it.
I can't have maintenance come fix it. Like, we have to fix it ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. My tech theater background, my 4 years of being on stage crew in high school has truly helped me throughout this entire process because I did know how to use a power tool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But I was proud though. I was.
You learned it very quickly.
I used the level
Yeah, a laser level.
A laser level. I knew how to use the little liquid inside the thing to tell when it was leveled.
Yep, the bubble.
The bubble. Yeah, the bubble's in the liquid.
We installed a bidet.
We did. Yeah, that's how you know we're really grown up now. Is that we're like can't have a home without a bidet.
Well, here's the thing: we got like a little $20 bidet off of Amazon, and we can't go back.
Yeah.
We can never go back. So we each got a bidet.
It's here's the thing: it's just we were talking about this earlier. It's more economical to go with a bidet.
Saves toilet paper.
You save on toilet paper. You save on water.
Maybe. Jury's still out.
Depending on who you are.
We'll see. But yeah, that was like I think that's like our one big splurge, because we have most of our furniture, if our coffee table,
right,
we bought a new one, but all of our furniture is from the apartment. Like a lot of it doesn't need to be replaced, but the thing that I was like, I'll splurge on this: bidets. Right. They're not electric, they're not heated, they're cold ass frigid water.
Yeah.
Bidets blasting in your ass. So like, don't go thinking they're fancy. But
they're pretty fancy.
They were
it's fancier than what I grew up with.
Same.
Which was no bidet, which is a toilet.
Which was those slam shut toilets.
Yeah.
Which I think all toilets should be. You know what? I'm gonna get on my. It's 2023. I'm gonna get on my soapbox here, especially when you're buying a new construction house. Why are we having slam shut toilet lids? Give me a soft close toilet lid. Give me soft close hinges on every cabinet you can think of. Like, what what are we doing?
We didn't have a peephole on our...
We don't have a peephole. Who thought of that? A man.
Yeah.
A man.
A dude.
And when I tried 4 times to put on our video doorbell, I failed each time. And I think this last time I did drill into a wire. So it just doesn't work now.
So we're truly just playing it by ear.
This is what happens when you take 2 people who inside of their heads are still 14 and you let them sign a mortgage.
I was gonna fight you on that, but then as I'm looking to my side here and I see all my like comic book Funko Pops, and behind me I have
you have your WWE belt.
Yeah.
You're wearing a Moana shirt.
Yeah. So I won't argue. But that was another thing that has been fun is now we have kind of like a little office/streaming area.
Yeah.
That we can kind of do up a little bit. We had all this stuff just kind of all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense in our last apartment. That now we can kind of dedicate into an area.
And we have room to like display stuff, and we can add some like shelves and stuff, because we don't have to be nervous about putting holes in the wall.
Right.
They let us put holes.
Everything.
Yeah, they let us put holes in the wall at the apartment, but for all the stuff we have to hang up, that's a lot of holes. So we just didn't do that.
Right.
So now, we have a little bit more leeway. We can paint if we want to paint. I'm too lazy to do that.
Yeah, I don't know about
but
that.
we could if we wanted to.
And
we have separate closets now.
Separate bathrooms.
That's a game changer. Yeah, I can get ready, and John doesn't have the excuse that I took too long to get ready, and that's why he's running late. Now he just runs late, and it's only because of him as a person. And now we all know the fucking truth.
Yeah. Again, I wanted to fight you on that,
but you can't.
But brother, I can't.
Another big positive is that we actually have room to entertain. Like, we can invite people over. We only have a love seat couch because that's all that fit in our apartment before.
Right.
And it was just the 2 of us. So like, who gives a shit? But now when all 4 of us and the cats, obviously, try to squeeze on that couch, no, there's just simply no room.
Right.
So now we have the room to like buy a couch that other people can fit on. We can invite friends over. We can get a dining room table.
Right.
And we can like have people over to eat food together.
Will we? Probably not.
I mean, that doesn't matter.
Right.
What matters is that we have
could.
the option.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that before.
Right.
We don't have the chairs, but we have the option.
We don't have the chairs, but we have... Yeah. And that's been fun, too, just getting to... Well, it's been more fun for you getting to look around and see how can we make this place nice.
I love to shop, and I love the excuse to shop. Again, we are balling on a budget here. But we're a pretty family. We're a pretty frugal family. Like, our individual families, us as a family.
Right.
So we're going to search for the deals and only get stuff that's like good prices. So
good prices, good quality, Papa John's.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Unpacking is definitely better than packing. I love to put things in their place and create places for everything. He's looking at the boxes behind him because there's a lot of shit that I have not put in their places. But, you know, there's other stuff to do.
I mean, listen, brother, you ain't got to tell me. That's the other part that's been kind of shitty is that even still, I left work early once, and that was to close. Mm-hmm. But even after we moved, like we had that weekend in which I was like, okay, it sounds silly, but it actually makes the most sense. My whole weekend was like, we have to get the kitchen in order.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I was like, especially for me, I'm like, not, again, completely from a place of, I acknowledge this is privilege and that I've got time and the resources to do this. But like for me, I'm like on a very specific like meal plan. Well, quote unquote specific.
Yeah.
In these weeks, I've been a little veering away, not far, but especially when we're in situations where we're like, hey, we have to hang up a bunch of shit or we have a bunch of errands to run, stuff like that. I'm not gonna. Who am I? You know. But for the most part, I'm on a very specific like diet and meal plan. And
you have been for months.
Right. So like cooking breakfast and, you know, making my meals, like that's something that's important to me that I want, you know, but also like just on a day-to-day basis, how the fuck are we going to eat? How are we going to do anything?
Yeah. No, I think that's a good place to start.
So my whole week, the rest of that weekend was like, let me unpack this and get this in order.
Well, yeah, and it was interesting timing because we moved on a Saturday, and then the next day, that Sunday, was Father's Day.
Right.
And for Father's Day, my dad decided that he wanted to play this one specific video game the whole day. I think we've played for about 8 hours. So while I'm on the couch playing a video game for 8 hours, John's setting up the kitchen by himself.
No, it was fine though, because you spend so much time packing like a lot of the stuff. So I was just like, all right, well, I think it's a fair trade. Let me go ahead and unpack a lot of this. But also, I knew I wasn't gonna have time throughout the day,
right?
Because just through work and like, you know, I'm not to spill all my beans out there, but I work summer camps, you know, stuff like that, you know, so I'm very busy and I'm very active throughout the day. By the time my day is over, like I'm talking early mornings, and then I got this new commute, so like it's even earlier,
and then you're drained,
and yeah, it's just so much energy expelled that by the time I come home, and especially if that's like a day where I go work out, by the time I get home, I'm just like
done.
I'm done. Yeah. I don't want to do anything. I just want to exist.
Yeah.
I'll be lucky if I'm able to stay awake to watch Monday Night Raw or something.
Yeah.
You know? I fucking talk about, you know, feeling like you're doing grown-up adult things. I had to start taking a fucking multivitamin recently because I was like, I think I have a vitamin B deficiency because I feel weird and I cannot wake up for anything. I'll have had like 2-3 cups of coffee and I'm like, and I'm drinking plenty of water, and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm like I could pass out and go to sleep right now. The multivitamin has been helping, I must say.
That's good.
But anyway, so all that to say, like moving in was like, that's why we're still doing it, you know, because we still have work,
right? Work, and then, like I said, Father's Day was that Sunday. The next weekend was that Saturday. We celebrated my sister's birthday, which was pretty much all day. So we've had like a Sunday before this weekend. So yeah, and it's like, I'm kind of the same. I work from home again. Huge privilege. Probably less so now that a lot of people work from home because of the pandemic. But I've been working from home since before
more and more people are making their way back to the office.
Which is unfortunate and stupid, and I hate that separate topic. But yeah, so I do work from home. But especially after moving in, like there have been repair people here, and the builder, like the representative for the builder, has done walkthroughs and has fixed stuff. And I'm really bad, and I hate talking to people on the phone, talking to strangers when they come to my door. We have no fucking peephole. I never know who's outside. So like that has been draining. And then I'm working from home, but I'm still working 8-hour days doing sometimes work that is very frustrating for hours and hours. So I'm kind of the same. At the end of the day, I'm like, I'll cook dinner and I'll be like, I don't want to do anything else.
Right.
I don't want to do anything else. So I think we've done pretty well with trying to get things. I think something that helps for us individually and together now in our shared environment is just breaking things down to steps. So like we'll be really, really tired, but like, I did it for my bathroom. I was like, I need my towel bar, hand towel bar hung up. And I did that maybe like sometime in the first week, and then didn't hang up any of my other bathroom accessories, like my bathroom hardware. I was like, I have enough energy to devote to this one thing right now. So I'm going to do that, feel good that I did that, and leave it at that. I don't need to finish everything all at once. I'll figure out what's most important to me, do that, move on. The rest can be done a different day. And I think we've kind of done that. Yeah.
And I think, so like today, I was very happy because today, or this week, depending on when you're listening to this, I set up all of my bathroom stuff, right? The bidet, the towel bars, you know, the hooks and whatever. And that sort of stuff always intimidates me because I never really knew how to do it, right? So that was kind of an accomplishment for myself, you know, just, as small as it may be. You know, I was like, hey, I learned how to do something today, which was cool. But also now I don't have to fucking worry about it, you know? Yeah. Now it's and I'm like I said, like we're 3 weeks in almost. Yeah. So it's nice that all that stuff is up. I said today it feels less like I'm just chilling in a hotel bathroom, and now it feels more like a home bathroom, right? Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. There's just something about, you know, it's like our own little space, which what our apartment was too, right? But now I don't know. It was just there was a satisfying experience that came along with setting all that up.
Well, our bathrooms are like truly our own little places,
right?
Because like we share the bedroom, we share the office, but like our bathrooms are our own,
right?
And we don't really share them. So yeah, it's kind of nice having like that. Like I got to make my whole bathroom pink and girly and flowers and stuff.
Right. Well, like in our office right now, we talked a little bit about it before. Like behind me, I've got this artwork that I purchased. I don't know why I said it like that.
I don't know why I said it like that.
Yeah.
Some art I purchased from a gallery. He bought that from Disney.
And
it's beautiful. Yeah. No, it's like real legitimate art.
And that and my WWE title that I bought.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's just cool getting to like finally display that stuff I've been wanting to do.
Right.
And not just kind of putting it somewhere because we have nowhere else for it.
Right.
Keeping it in a closet somewhere, things like that. So it is kind of nice knowing that we have the space to really make our own.
Yeah. I agree.
But anyway, so that's been moving, even though it's been stressful and in some cases annoying. In some ways, it has been really gratifying and satisfying in a lot of others. So
our realtor put it a great way. She was like, "You'll do this for the first time, just like everything else. This kind of helps me as someone who struggles with anxiety. You'll do this for the first time, and then you'll never have to do it for the first time again."
True.
So the next time that we're in. Is this too much information to say it's a townhouse?
No, I
don't think so. We're in a townhouse. So we moved out of an apartment into a townhouse. So it's more of a house than we've ever lived in together before, but it's still like attached on both sides. Still have like neighbors right next to us, that kind of stuff. So whenever we move into our next place, that'll be hopefully a full house just to ourselves. We'll never have to go through it for the first time again.
Right.
We'll understand like the terms that was another frustrating thing is like, I'm grateful to have a real estate agent basically in the family, my mom's best friend. She's been like an aunt to me my whole life. And she was really able to help us understand these terms that they throw out, assuming that you know what the fuck it means. I have no idea. I've never done this before.
Right.
And the whole process and all that stuff. We'll never have to be in that like ignorant place again. And hopefully we'll have some equity on this house, to get us through the next time. So it'll never be as confusing as it was this first time.
Right.
So I'm grateful for that.
Speaking of neighbors, really quickly, and then I want to move on to that.
Oh yes,
thing
my
you brought
thing.
up. Y'all, we have a neighbor, and this isn't like a bad story about them.
No, we don't know anything about our neighbors.
It's more of a dilemma on my end.
We need advice.
We were. I was talking to Kendra and her family who came to. They were like had a shopping day or something, and we're like talking about something outside, and one of our neighbors sees me and calls out to me, but I don't know this person.
Yeah. We've never met any of our neighbors.
I've never met any of our neighbors, like, introduced myself or they've introduced themselves to me. But they called me. I couldn't hear the name that they said. Mm-hmm. But they just kept looking over our way. And as I was walking back into the house, he calls out again and says, "Hey, it's good to see you, man." And I said, "Yeah, you too." And I've seen them, like, in passing. But I don't know this person.
Yeah.
And so I felt bad because I'm like, I probably looked like an asshole.
Right. I feel bad too because I didn't know who he's talking to. I was over in a different spot. So I also didn't respond or say anything.
And here's the thing. It's not that. And this is kind of what fucks me up a little bit. And it's not even that I look like an asshole. I made this other person that he actually knows look like an asshole. Because he thinks he was talking to someone completely different.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's probably fucking wondering why I was being so cold.
Rude, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, because my dude, I don't know you.
Yeah.
So like, and again, it's nothing against him. I don't know anyone out here. I'm happy to make a friend.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
You seem nice. Anyone who would like say hi in public seems nice.
But like.
So next time you see them, what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I need y'all to tell me what do I do next time I see them?
I think you should hope that he contacted whoever he thought you were to be like, "Hey man, saw you outside," or something like that.
Like everything okay?
Yeah. And only for them to be like, "Oh, that wasn't me."
Right.
And then be like, "Oh, okay, this was a totally different person."
Because that could also be a good gateway to a friendship. If he's like, "Hey man, sorry." Or if I'm like, "Hey man, sorry that if I came off any sort of way, I think you might be confusing me with someone else."
Yeah.
And then if he's like, "Oh, well, yeah, I was. Sorry about that." And then we're like, "Oh, that's okay. I'm John, by the way." And
yeah.
Then, who knows?
Who knows?
Could be my best man one day.
Okay.
My neighbor.
I mean, maybe.
But anyway, so any advice y'all have on that would be great.
Yeah. Just an awkward situation.
Yeah.
But again, they seem nice. So yeah, haven't met anybody. There are still some units that haven't been sold yet or that people haven't moved into yet. I did see someone come in for their pre-closing walkthrough and she had a big puppy dog. Oh my God, that dog looked cute. We need to befriend her. She looked our age. Oh. And it was just a girl. Well, a woman. Because technically we're in that age now that we're not girls anymore and we are women. And I think her father... So I don't know if she has her own John, or John equivalent, I should say. Right. So, but I do want to befriend.
Equal to or less than, equal to or greater than.
I do want to befriend her because of her dog.
Right.
Very cute. Anyway, so yeah, the one thing that I wanted to bring up, every time anyone says either of these words, I'm like, hold on. So I would like to discuss some words that seem problematic, but apparently, allegedly, are not.
Huh. Okay.
And
Interesting.
If you have anything to add, please feel free. I only have 2 on my list right now, but perhaps you can jog my memory. Think of some more. So the first one is pretty self-explanatory. Niggling. So when people are like, I had this niggling idea. What did you say? Repeat that.
I don't know if I'm allowed to laugh, but I am.
You can laugh a little bit. You can do a little giggle. But it's just like, how did we let that one through? I get that when people use it, they're not trying to be offensive. They probably don't even think about what I'm thinking about. But niggling?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how we let that one through.
Who's we? I'm not letting this slide.
We as a society.
Yeah,
Because like,
I don't know about that one. I think that's one we should stay away from.
Yeah, just so you're not misunderstood.
Right.
But if you do use that word a lot, just know it sounds a lot like a different, worse word.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Niggling. Who?
Maybe you're putting too much emphasis.
Okay.
On the middle syllable.
Okay. Niggling. That was worse.
Yeah, I don't know.
Niggling. Maybe it's pronounced a different way. No, because they do.
Maybe it's like a j sound.
Say it.
I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
It.
So what were you saying?
Maybe the G is like a j.
Niggling. We're making it so much worse. This is an audio format. I would like people to be reminded that I am Black. Please don't get it twisted. But yeah, that's an interesting one. And I think people who use it are bold and brave. Beautiful.
Like Batman. Oh, okay. You said bold and brave, and that's like the title of a Batman.
Oh.
And then you said beautiful, which I guess maybe he's not called beautiful enough, and that's why he is the way he is.
Yeah, maybe that's
also, his parents were murdered in front of him. Moving on. What's your other word?
Well, there's no one there to call him beautiful.
Yeah.
You're beautiful to us, Batman. I have this niggling idea that you are beautiful
Stop.
to us. The other one is chintzy. That doesn't sound good. I hear it all the time. It means like cheap. Chintzy.
Chintzy?
Chintzy.
I've never heard that.
It's because it doesn't sound great.
Where the fuck have you heard that word?
TikTok. When people are talking about like, I heard someone talking about, I think makeup packaging, and they called it chintzy, like cheap, flimsy. Chintzy. And it doesn't sound good. I don't like it.
I've never heard that.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Chintz McMahon.
Now hold on, that's just comedy. No, but yeah, I every time someone says it, I'm like, hold on, and it makes me think of like, okay, I genuinely don't know if this is a bad word or not. Shiesty, that doesn't sound good either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how many of these words are deemed okay now but have horrible pasts? Anyway, so
Yeah.
those are a couple of words that I don't know how good they are.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my... I'm sure I have. I've heard many words that I'm like,
Hold
is that okay to say?
on.
I'm also a very bad judge of this. So like I'm thankful for the arts specifically. I've always been involved in the arts since middle school, but it wasn't until I was in high school where I was exposed to different types of people. And I had to, like, throughout high school and college even, I had to, like, unlearn a lot of things that weren't even said, like, maliciously.
Right, you had no idea.
And I'm talking, like, actual
Slurs.
and offensive words that I had to, like, learn to not say anymore. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that type of language, if I'm unsure about it,
Just don't say
I just won't, I just wouldn't say it now because I'm like, I don't know about all that. So yeah, I don't know. Although though, I think I don't know what chintzy is. I mean, you told me, but like I've never heard that. So I would have to maybe hear it more in context before I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
The first one I just out of all good conscience I could not say.
Niggling. It's just like, I wonder how much of these words have roots in things that are bad.
Yeah.
Or are they just completely innocent and they just happen to sound bad like other words?
No, you know what? Let's talk about one word and then we'll go. Because this pissed me off.
Oh.
Zesty.
Okay.
I didn't know that, like... So, like, I can grasp when someone's like... Even if I'm like, hey, don't use that as an adjective for something you don't like. Mm-hmm. But when people are like, hey, that's sus or whatever.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't think, especially kids, know what they're saying when they say that.
They're just repeating.
Right. But a lot of times it's like if someone's quote unquote acting gay or whatever, mm-hmm. right? They'll say, oh, that's sus. Mm-hmm. Or you're being sus right now. And it's not always about that. But apparently zesty has become that. Where
I had no idea.
I didn't know that either.
I don't have a pulse on the youth.
Well, I teach kids a lot.
Yeah.
So this is how I learned.
Zesty. I've never heard
it's
of
like,
that.
If someone is, it's just, like, oh, that it's kind of like sassy or I don't know. I don't know
like
the
that.
exact, but from what I understand,
Yeah.
from others telling me in the community, telling me that it's like if something is gay or acting
Seems
gay or
gay.
seems gay, and whatever way that means.
It's not. It doesn't have to necessarily be like a person, right?
No.
Okay. Interesting.
And again, I could just sound like an old fuck saying all this.
Yeah, true.
But I didn't know this.
So
when
that's
when I hear zesty, I'm thinking, oh, it's finally like a word that kids are using in the appropriate manner. Like I'm thinking like, oh, someone's acting like
flashy,
like spicy, or like they got like a little
attitude,
a little edge to them. Like, ooh, someone's being zesty today.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when I teach a class, I do like a check-in, just an emotional check-in, to just kind of meet everyone where they're at. Just so I'm like, all right, y'all, say your first name and then use a word to describe how you're feeling today or this morning or whenever I'm teaching the class, right? And I usually go first to give the first example, and this is a class full of teenagers, and I say, hello, I'm Mr. John, and today, with all confidence, I'm feeling zesty. And I see all these heads go down, and I'm just thinking, oh,
You're
it's
like,
just Mr. John being old because he's using our slang or whatever. And I'm sure that was part of it. But also, so I'm like,
Did one of the kids tell you after the fact, like, this is what that means? No, they just let you hang?
Yep, they just let me soak in that for a while. Which, I mean, hey, props to them. They're very accepting kids.
Right.
But I learned from a coworker who is more in that in-between age. They're closer to being a teenager than I am. So, but yeah, I was like, wow. So it's not really an offensive word.
No.
And it didn't really piss me off. But it was just more of like, what pissed me off was I'm like, how did we get here?
Yeah, what's that leap? And also, why am I so out of the loop?
Right. I think that's
that weird how you just like
upsets me more.
You grow up and you think you're in the loop and you're not.
Right.
I think it's just we don't realize how much of an impact being with other kids for like 5 days a week, hours at a time.
Right.
Truly kept us young.
It truly did. Well, on that note, friends,
we talked about a lot of different things.
We did, and we want to thank y'all for hanging out with us today. We do have some more unpacking to do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep working on that throughout this fine Independence Day. Remember to, in your thoughts and prayers tonight, keep be sure to thank Will Smith for, much like he did Chris Rock, he slapped that alien on this great day.
I assume that's an Independence Day reference. I've never seen that film.
Yeah. Anyway,
watch Cadet Kelly. I've seen that film.
If you're not already, please follow us on all the various socials: TikTok, Instagram. Follow us right here on wherever you're listening to podcasts. So Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. Follow us on Twitch. For any time we go live, we do a wrestling oriented, a WWE oriented stream every month. It's called Pre-Per-View, where we talk about the card for the whatever upcoming
pay-per-view?
premium live event. I know we never really came up. Pre-Per-View is just such a good name.
Pre-Per-View was conceptualized, I think, the month before they changed the name.
Right. So
fuck them.
Where they didn't consult us on that.
Didn't even tell us.
That seemed like a Vince McMahon thing. I'm going to blame it on Chince McMahon. So we're going to go with that. But you can follow us there. Kendra also does a number of play-alongs. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah. I am currently playing through Dream Daddy. Haven't played in quite some time because we did move. But all of my past episodes of that are on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you're subscribed to us on YouTube as well.
Yeah, and if you follow us on Twitch, I don't know if I already said this, you can be notified of when we go live. So be sure you do that. And like I said, all the other socials, you'll be notified of when we are doing things, when new episodes drop, and all the what have you.
Oh.
All right. That said, we're going to go ahead and peace on out this bitch.
Good God.
I'm John.
And I'm Kendra.
And thank you for sitting
Ringside.